in the frozen valleys of Scotland, in the burning hills of Wales, one name echoed like thunder: Edward Plantagenet. To his people he was Longshanks, iron-willed, relentless. To his enemies he was something far worse. The Hammer of Kings. This was not a ruler who negotiated with rebellion. This was a king who destroyed it. But was Edward I a brilliant architect of a nation, or a ruthless tyrant who ruled through fear? Stay with me, because by the end of this story you'll decide his legacy. Edward was born in 1239, the son of King Henry III of England. From the start, he was different, tall, broad, unyielding. While other princes learned poetry and courtly manners, Edward learned war. He grew up watching England fracture under weak leadership, and he swore he would never allow chaos to rule again. By his 20s, Edward had already proven himself on the battlefield. During the Second Barons' War, he crushed rebels who dared challenge royal authority. This wasn't just combat, it was a lesson. Edward learned that power survives only when it is enforced. Before he wore the crown, Edward marched east on the Ninth Crusade. In the Holy Land, he faced assassination attempts, ambush, and disease. He was stabbed by a poisoned blade and survived. That moment changed him forever. Edward returned to England hardened, disciplined, and utterly convinced that God favored decisive rulers. In 1272, when his father died, Edward became king, and England would never be the same. Edward's first great test was Wales. For centuries, Welsh princes resisted English control. Edward decided to end that resistance permanently. He launched brutal campaigns, marching deep into Welsh territory. Castles rose like iron fists across the land: Carnarvon, Conwy, Harlech. Stone by stone, rebellion was suffocated. By 1283, Wales was crushed. Edward didn't just conquer it, he rewrote its future. He declared his son Prince of Wales, a title that still exists today. This wasn't just conquest. This was domination through permanence. But Edward's most infamous war was yet to come. Scotland. When the Scottish throne collapsed into chaos, Edward intervened not as a mediator, but as a master. He demanded loyalty, he demanded submission, and when Scotland resisted, Edward answered with fire and steel. In 1296, he invaded. Cities burned, armies shattered. The sacred stone of destiny, symbol of Scottish kingship, was seized and dragged to Westminster. Then came William Wallace. Wallace defied Edward with guerrilla warfare and open rebellion. For a moment, Scotland dared to hope. Edward responded with overwhelming force. Wallace was captured, executed, and made an example of. But resistance did not die. Robert the Bruce would rise, and Edward, now aging and ill, prepared for one final campaign. He never reached the battlefield. In 1307, Edward I died on the march north. His last command: "Carry my bones before the army so Scotland never forgets who conquered them." Edward I was more than a warlord. He reformed English law, strengthened Parliament, and imposed royal justice across the realm. His legal codes shaped England for centuries, but his rule came at a cost: heavy taxation, forced loyalty, relentless punishment for rebellion. To some, Edward was the founder of a strong English state. To others, he was a tyrant who crushed cultures to feed ambition. Both are true, and that is what makes Edward I unforgettable. Edward's castles still stand, his laws still echo. His wars still divide memory. He forged unity through force. He built order through fear. Edward, I didn't ask history to love him. He commanded it to remember him. Now I want your verdict. Was Edward I a visionary king who built England, or a ruthless conqueror who ruled through terror? Drop your answer in the comments and defend it. If you want more epic, no-nonsense history of warriors, kings, and empires, subscribe now, like this video to keep these stories alive, and share it with someone who still thinks medieval history was boring, because legends aren't made by mercy. They're made by power,